and welcome to our next podcast, Whisky with GreatDrams. Today we've got Scott from the Glencairn Crystal company, and he's going to talk to us today about the 40th anniversary of the business, how the business was started, how it's such a wonderful family business, and where they're looking to go in the future with it. So it's a really great chat. I really enjoyed hearing from Scott, so I hope you enjoy it too.
Is there an obligation to join the company, or is it a joy to be a part of something that the family has been building for so long?
It's the best question ever, because I mean, you're literally you're dragged in, you're brought up. How does I describe this? See, my dad had one story where my dad says every job application I was sending out and was getting any responses back, my dad said he was firing them in the bin. So that I wouldn't take a job. That was his story. But after 40 years, there's some perception it's been a journey that's just been like that. Has it? Heck, the journey's been like that. It's ups and downs all over the place, and the learnings you had to do. And if you also combine the fact that we're not a whiskey company, we're a support business to the whiskey industry. We've brought ourselves really close to the whiskey industry, and that's the wonderful bit about it. But as a support to the whiskey industry, you're not growing like a whiskey brand. It's not like we've got, yes, we've now got 40-year-old whiskey line by the gazillion around us. Yes, we've got 40,000 glasses lying around us, but they don't have the same sort of increasing value as whiskey. It's and so you're growing up around it. So it's been really good. That would be how I grew up in the industry. But I was going back to the very beginning. I was saying something. I was devastated when my dad got into the crystal industry, because when I was 9 or 10, my dad worked for Matchbox Toys.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
And his best mate was a Palatoy rep. So it's Star Wars and Action Man and Matchbox. What could a boy want in his life? And that's how I grew up. So when he said, I'm going to go and steal crystal, I was like, it's a waste of time. Like, what's that going to do for me? So you end up doing all of these things, and then you've got this whole summer job dragging as child labour, and then you're getting involved in doing these things over the years, because I was there when I was 17 and 18, working. You think you get a summer job, and then no, actually it's a 6-day a week, 7-day a week summer job to help tools on for massive panic order and all the rest of it.
Yeah. So
you grow up in that environment, and then for me personally, I was going through university, and while I'm doing that, my dad's starting off relationships with lots of people in the whiskey industry. I had a job on Saturdays, or every other Saturday, of driving my dad to the football. Nice. With some of the industry people, the master blenders and all the rest of it, and that was, so you end up chatting to them, and you've got this whole world of people that were publicans and in Glasgow and all the rest of it, and all of that stuff you're growing up around. And the memory one of the memories that still sticks with me is Billy Walker. And yeah, so basically he talked to me and he asked me what I drank when I was out, what was my staple, and I said Jack and Coke, and he just said, you will always be a brown spirits person. People pick it at that age when you're uni and all the rest of it, and say whatever you're drinking, that'll be your category of spirits, and you'll just upgrade over the years, and you'll migrate to whiskey as your palate changes. so true.
Brilliant.
You know? So it's they're the memories that I've got while I was doing it all. So you're dragged into it, you're drawn into it, and your dad then sort of throws little carrots and says, "Come on, you can come and you can help. You can have chats with this guy and chats with that." And I'm sure he was telling all of these guys to say, "Tell Scott to stay in the business." You know, I need to keep this going. I'm fortunate because me and Paul and Andrew, for the time he was in the business, you know, we're the next generation. So we look at what my dad did on his own and saw how we could contribute. What, you know, by being part of the business, we can give more support, more ideas, more creativity, more support, more running about that you could do, and we were there to help build on what my dad had started, the idea he had started, and also correct all the things that he wasn't good at, you know, people management, planning, production planning, and all these sort of things that dad's like, no, dad's good at great ideas and getting projects off the ground, and then knowing that people were there to go and actually make sure it all happens.
Yeah,
Dad's
change, don't they? As you grow, you don't realise that you need all of those other arms of the business. You know, when you doing it, you just get on with it. But then when you realise actually these orders are coming and you need to plan for those, it makes it a lot more difficult, doesn't it?
You know, well, the thing is, you know, as I say, in the highs and lows of it all, you know, you learn about who's in charge, and sometimes you think you're in charge. Dad thinks he's in charge, and they say, no, there's some banker or some accountant telling you what to do with your day, and you know, and we've learned all of these lessons over the years, and I'm sure lots of companies have been through that, where you wonder who's the master of this idea that you've created.
It changes, doesn't it, depending on what's gone on. Obviously, for the last year, the government's been our master in a lot of things, what we can and can't do, and where we can sell things and where we can't, and everything. So it does just change, doesn't it?
And they're the learning experiences that you can't get it out of a book.
No.
You know, and you know, I've got a T-shirt for it, for all the highs and lows I've been through over the last, 40 years. You know, I don't like saying it, but because you can remember at the very beginning where your dad said, "Wouldn't this be nice? Instead of playing with those toys, you've got, here's a whole pile of glasses, and me and Paul, you know, let's wrap them in tissue. Really nice. Fold and wrap. Oh no, you can't just bundle it. You've got to roll it." And, you know, and trying to tell you that that's fun. You know, you're falling for it. So that was a journey, but it has been a journey, and it does suck you in. It's an industry that sucks you.
Tell us about one of those highs that you talk about. People always say, "Oh, what are the lows that you've overcome?" But let's celebrate one of the highs of the Glencairn.
Oh, gosh, it depends how far you go back. My dad remembers when we got an order for Cunard as a corporate order, but we tied it in with Auchentoshan at the time. That's back in the '88, and it was. I remember it because it was a big deal for the family having this thing to do. So many decanters, 5,000 decanters and 30,000 glasses. It was just bonkers. And how we could execute it was the biggest challenge, but the euphoria about doing it was fantastic. To be picked as a key company to help an organisation like that for their first visit to Japan ever, or something, I think it was. Following the Queen's visit to Japan, the first time the Queen visited Japan. So I remember that they were euphoric, and then when you get a great order for a whiskey company for something really quite important, those sort of stepping stones are the things that you get excited about. And you can't help but enjoy that little buzz. That's why you do it, and you do well out of it, and the company does well out of it. And it's because for us, working with whiskey companies, before the Glencairn glass, it was really about, we were trying to be a traditional crystal company, However, we're building ourselves because where we started, we were an Airdrie. And in Airdrie, you had 3 bonds, or 3 whisky companies, 4 whisky companies actually, just in that area, which was Burn Stewart, Inverhouse, Chivas had warehousing there as well, and what was the 4th one? That's now where Angus Dundee is. It was Glencairn.
Yes.
So they were all in this. So they were on your doorstep. My dad was dealing through them. When I was growing up, every kid in Airdrie, you know, he collected marbles, and everybody had a Pinwinnie bag. And Pinwinnie whiskey came in a lovely velvet bag, and every kid in Airdrie had a Pinwinnie bag for holding their marbles in, for playing marbles. It was just one of those things that was near the memories that go back.
Yeah.
I think we might have to start that with the bags that we get. We never know what to do with them, but they'll be good Lego holders.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was Lego now. Yeah. It was marbles in those days. Yeah, you know, steelies and cat's eyes and all the rest of it. My dad started it when he was at Edinburgh Crystal, when he started off doing decanters, and that's how my dad got into it, from doing bespoke decanters to actually building a business around that idea, but doing traditional crystal, but making it commercially attractive for the whisky industry to adopt. And we did that. That's been the backbone of our thinking all the way through. And to get a whisky company's support and endorsement for us doing a job well was success. And today, even all the expensive stuff we do, the key driver is to say, well, if we can support our customers doing really well by using a Glencairn product, and commercially make it really attractive, and make all those things you take for granted, the metrics in it working well for them, then we're doing our job well, and that gives us the biggest boost, because we've been in the industry for so long. We know we'll get enough business to support us, but making sure we do it well and having that sort of consistency about our service and quality and attention to detail, because our reputation sits with these guys. Doing it well gives us a great feeling of success more than anything.
How would you say the humble decanter has actually evolved over the years, from early kind of experiences your dad had to setting up his own business, and how it's moved on and changed in those years?
Yeah, when we did the decanter, I could go and get one. We were talking about evolutions and sort of revolutions, and these are old reference samples. So
I remember my dad used to have one exactly like that, actually.
Traditional square decanter, Greg, Casey, right?
Yeah.
And if you notice something about it, and this isn't the best example, when you used to get a traditional decanter, it was all fully cut. So there was nothing. So when whisky companies used to ask for something, in fact, this is another one, they'd all come fully cut. But there'd be a little bit in the top, and literally, when you went to Edinburgh Crystal and asked, and you'd say, right, could you just engrave a wee message along the top here, Glenfiddich or something like that? And you're like, really? Which is why a lot of them, when they got the square decanters, were back in the 70s and 80s and all the rest of it, they'd have a neck tag saying Glenfiddich on it, because you put a little chain around it saying what it is. And it was done as a flag flying exercise. It wasn't done as a commercial venture to make any more money. That wasn't important whenever they did crystal decanters. And so they'd be trying to fit little bits of text and spaces and on top and things that didn't really suit what the product was for. So my dad said, do you know what? I'm going to make all of our decanters, and I'm going to get them all hand cut, but with one face blank.
Nice, yeah.
I'm going to sit with them in stock with one face blank, of no retail commercial value at all, because who would buy a decanter that was cut on 3 sides with a face blank? Nobody would do it. It was only when we applied the branding on it on the 4th face would it actually be complete
Yeah.
So everybody thought my dad was sort of mad to make stock with blank panels. And my dad also in the 80s, the beginning of when he started Glencairn, made this sweet, and it's called Bothwell. And it's got these circular panels.
Yeah.
Circular panels so we could engrave them. And we did the tumblers and glasses to match with circular panels on them. The whole point being that we'd put the logo in that space. And from there on, you've got this multiple thing coming on where we could actually do apply branding, so you get a nice fancy, you know, if it was White Mackay, we did for the full area, that whole panel was blank, so it could take the branding. So equally, when we did, there's the one there, I don't know if you can see that.
Ah, yeah.
Downward 50.
Yeah.
That's an old sample we did, and that's an old sample reference that I found. And once again, my dad got them made with sections left blank on them. So we're actually making crystal that is incomplete until the branding's applied.
Very clever.
Back in the 80s, that was revolution. Nobody did it. No whiskey company. Those sort of things persisted over the years. And we couldn't believe that that's how people, these were the revolutionary things early on. You make a decanter it's not fully cut. You can't ever sell it to anybody else. They said, no, but our customers want to put the logos on it. They want to put awards or presentations and put the details on it and have lots of space to do it. And we created that process where we could do things like that and say, oh gosh, you can put the whole logo on it. And doing these sort of things were the big changes that crystal companies hadn't thought about, actually making the product specifically for that marketplace, for corporate gifting, for presentations, and for whiskey was my dad's key step. So we were started off in doing that, and all the innovations we've done ever since have been based on trying to make the product more attractive for branding, for commercialization in our sectors, drink sector, you know, so you can put you can recreate the whiskey label on it, because it wasn't normal to do so, or to have product available that was produced in that way.
What do you think the actual future is of it then? If all these kind of awesome innovations happened like through the 80s and onwards over the last kind of 30, 40 years?
Oh yeah, well, I suppose it's going back to this whole thing that everybody saw that, and that was a whiskey decanter. And that's why everybody saw it, and that was it. There wasn't any open to interpretation in any way. It was a square decanter, and today everything's changed, and we've obviously watched it. I've been watching it my whole life. The evolution has gone from square decanter because that's how people see it, and that's still true to a certain degree, but because it harks back to whiskey and identity in whiskey. However, you've also got this other tier where you've got lots of sort of brand building activities going on, and the shapes of the decanters have to reflect the brand now. So you've got lots of these lovely individual shapes coming out now, and we've been asked to do some sort of crazy shapes to represent the projects that they're working on, or some particular theme, or in many cases it's a top expression. We did Glenfarclas 60-year-old, which is lovely, which was an evolution from the 50-year-old. However, as you see in all of their products, it's all based on their standard shape bottle. Everything, even the crystal ones, and they've got the mid-tier crystal one, and then they've got the high-end cut ones, but they will not deviate from their core, their shape of their product, because that's what people know Glenfarclas for. And why would you? Because it is a lovely shape and a recognizable shape, and it's just what you can do to sort of build on that and add value to it. And then you've got others who say, no, we're going to go for something really ornate for our releases. And so you see a variety of things happening, and that's because of the explosion at that high-end marketplace. you know. And as long as there's old whiskey to be bottled, I think we'll always try to do something that's evolutionary in the state. And I think it's all evolutionary. A lot of people think this stuff is, you know, it didn't happen before that product, but I've literally, it's been a very slow build. I mean, it's been a very long investment for Glencairn to see it go from where we were to where we are today.
And also, I mean, did I read a press release recently? You've sold, is it your 25 millionth Glencairn glass as well?
Yeah, I know, it's nuts, isn't it?
Congratulations.
It's quite humbling, you know. I mean, to see it. Once again, we're a small family business. There's 60 or 70 of us now, but you know, in those earlier days, and you're just starting up, you don't know how things are going to pan out. You don't know what's going to be successful or not. You just have nice ideas, and you hope that the things you're doing are going to be helpful to an industry. And we still think, that's how I still think today, and I think that's how we all think as a family, that the things that you're creating are helpful to build the industry and doing the right thing. And it's great to have some sort of kickback that said, you know, actually you did a really good thing, and my dad created a really good idea. It's actually been a benefit to the industry. That's, you couldn't have hoped. I've got a daughter haircut here. Teenage daughter gave me my shearing last month. Okay, it's a wee bit out of the way, but it wasn't bad.
Don't worry, I did Greg's this week.
Yeah.
This is my handiwork.
With actual animal shears.
Yeah, I asked my dad to borrow his clippers, and he turned up with them, and they were for the dog.
I tell you, I've got a great. I'm going to show you. I've got a good picture of it. My dear daughter did my hair, and my hair was a mess. Where is it? That's her taking the clippers to it.
Control there.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, trusted her.
That's good. She did a good job.
Oh, she's quite good at it. That's the second time she's done it.
Very good.
I think she took pleasure in it. Of course, see when you feel.
You could see there, she looked happy.
Oh, she was very pleased with it. She was loving this. Even you felt her over here in your head. I was starting to get really nervous.
Oh, yeah. It is quite nerve-wracking, isn't it? Even though you're not doing anything, that kind of like, I cannot see what's happening. Yeah.
I had a couple of glasses of wine. I said, "I'll go for it then."
Yeah. Yours are just out of control stage, wasn't it?
Oh god, yeah. I looked like I was sleeping under a bridge.
You really did.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great, was it?
my hair was out here. It was awful.
Oh, god, yeah, afro had taken over, isn't it?
Yeah, I was a 70s throwback. So that's the background of that. But yeah, getting to a huge number of glasses, it's a nice, a lovely landmark, a reminder of what we're doing. But it's a step in the journey, I think, over the years, and I think it'll always remain that until we see the glass being adopted in general bars. Because I think for us, it's a journey about education and getting people encouraged into enjoying their whiskies and moving around the gantry. And that was my dad's key driver then. And that's how you'd like to see it, the legacy roll out and say, actually, we encourage lots of people to enjoy drinking their malt whiskey and get it served in the right way. Might not always be the Glencairn glass, but that whole education process of people having an expectation in their mind of how they'll get a glass served, rather than that anticipation they're going to get a tumbler or a shot glass or a wine glass or something that's to hand in a bar environment. That's always been the tricky one. And even in my local bars, I'll still get it in a tumbler, unless I say, "Oh, come on, guys, you do it."
That's why they do it.
You not just take one out from your bag and be like, "I'll just bring my own, it's fine."
Just go back home and I'll bring one back. But you end up doing that. You bring them glasses.
Yeah.
Right. But once again, it's about education, and I think even knowing that you've got to do it in your local area, knowing that there's still a massive sort of program to happen. and that shows you this the opportunity as well to educate for the whisky industry and ourselves and everybody involved in it. I think there's still a huge way to go. So I don't know how it'll roll out.
Yeah.
But the Glencairn glass has been a good stepping stone, I think, in that education program.
Mm-hmm. I especially like your new red ones, by the way. As a devout Liverpool fan, I just love having that. And in the house, it's pretty much the only one I use now, isn't it?
Really? Well, no. Well, the thing is, I think we actually supply all the merchandise to Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah, we do all the corporate, all the merchandise for Liverpool Football Club.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, yeah, it's been quite good. Once again, it's the corporate side of the business that we get involved in. So it's very, there's so many Liverpool fans all over the world. Up here, all my best mates and whatnot.
Not over here, there isn't. Not here.
Man City on that side. Yeah.
Just keep elbowing. That's it. Just keep I'm off cue.
So sharing success and failures for the last couple of seasons, so it's okay.
That's nice.
I'm sharing it. That's it. It's all going well. It's not. You can't complain either, really. No, it's quite. That's it. You've been doing okay as well.
Doing all right.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
It's been a lot worse. It's been a lot worse.
You could always tell. You could tell quickly if there was tension in the environment. If one was doing too well, you're not getting a kick yet.
No, thankfully not. No. Just one last thing, really, on the kind of Glencairn glass and as a business, what's next for you guys? I mean, you spoke about the education, but like, what makes that Glencairn glass so special? Because it's connected with everyone in whiskey, really. I mean, I don't know, definitely a Scotch whiskey brand. I don't know any who don't use it as their kind of flagship glass. Irish whiskey is a little bit different because they have different shapes and different kind of historic references and stuff. But
even that, most of the Irish are still using the Glencairn glass. I think that it's a lovely thing about it. I mean, see the early days, we get great whiskey. All the distilleries picked up on it really well and were really supportive of the concept in Scotland. But trying to get it into the marketing world and all the rest of it was much harder. As soon as you go into London, all the big companies, it's very hard to move around and educate people because the brand ambassadors didn't know as much about it, certainly 20 years ago. Whereas there was a massive craft explosion in the States. And the support in the US was just off the chart, and it still is to this day, about using the Glencairn glass to try and educate and give comparative tastings between Scotch and bourbons. It was a great job, and the US market was incredibly supportive. But at the same time, we were supplying Kavlan were straight onto us, Amrut at the earliest days. So it was across the board, and I always put it down to my dad always used it. It did what it said in the tin. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't a difficult engagement product for people to get their head around. For novices, they got the experience straight away. It wasn't overly hard for a brand ambassador or a bartender or the master blender to explain what they had put into that whiskey when somebody held it up to their nose. And the glass encouraged people to nose as they drank. And that was, there's a lot of talk about lots of different glasses for all lots of functions. And I appreciate all of those things. And, it has started an interest in glassware that didn't really exist 20 years ago. My dad was when we were looking at it, because we were always flummoxed why people were just using anything they could get their hands on to promote whiskey. It was a promotional tool. But the very fact that we could encourage people to nose while they drank was the breakthrough moment, and that's the simple key to making it successful, because you can make the adoption really easy and put the control back in the hands of the people who are promoting the spirit that they're talking about, if they're in the bartender or whether they're a tasting or whatever and said, you know what, you've tried that one, try this one, because this one's very similar, but it's got a sweeter notes to it, or it's got a slightly peatier note, and it became immediate to take people on a journey. That's been the best thing about it. And you see it when people go and do tastings, or when people are at a whiskey show and they're going around trying them all, and it's the immediate feedback from everything they do using the glass that helps them appreciate it is all you want them to. That's the gold, and I think that's what will keep Glencairn sort of relevant for the future until people are off on their journey and quite happy. Because I mean, it's only one part of the story. You know, if people want to drink it mixed with ice, you know, all of that journey, all of those journeys exist beside it, but it's just in that world where that's how they want to learn, or that's how they're consuming at the time. It's great.
Yeah, we long for those days where we get welcomed back into a distillery with a tray full of Glencairns.
Absolutely.
Hopefully.
I know. It'd be nice to. I think everybody's quite desperate. Although I think with lockdown easing off, I'm hoping that's going to be sooner, and it'll be an interesting first year.
Yeah.
Because I reckon I don't think there'll be a huge amount of tourism, international tourism, which means that it'll be for us. Yeah. More for us to be able to do little jaunts up north and go and see people and pop in here and pop in there and have an experience. I think that'll be a window that I don't think people would normally get.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. I mean, we've already said, you know, for the next year, it's looking like taking the kids anywhere abroad is not going to happen. So planning where we can go that we haven't been, or that we want to experience for the kids whilst they're so little as well. So it's again, this time you wouldn't usually have, would you? You'd be off.
Yeah. Well, we do
on everything in that you can. But
I know. And I think you need to. I mean, we always used to do October week. We would take the kids and just go on a magical mystery tour. We just dump them in the car. We wouldn't make any plans, and we just head off down south. We go to London, go across, you know, just zigzag across. You know, I remember Madison was doing science studies, you know, so like space. So we went to Leicester Space Centre.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic. You've never been?
No.
Leicester Space Centre. Absolutely amazing. Fantastic site.
Sweet.
History of space. That's it. And so Aileen's really, my wife's really good at finding it. You know, going to Stonehenge, going to Warminster. Places like that. It was just off the beaten track.
I'm trying to look at October half term. I'm hoping we'll get up to Scotland though.
Oh man, I want to.
That's
go there.
the aim.
Yeah, you can go to Wedgwood and you can throw pots. Kids can. We'll teach your kids how to do it. Things like that.
Brilliant.
I think my 1-year-old might actually do more actual throwing and smashing rather than
1-year-old.
Yeah, that's why I laughed so hard then, because I was like, him round China is not going to happen.
No.
I know, but do you know what? It's quite funny because mine, we encouraged them into glass at an early age because they have to get comfortable with it.
I suppose.
World. You just throw them into it. You know? So you'll be doing the same. See all of these smells. These are okay smells.
I mean, we have to do the whole no, you're not allowed to drink whiskey for a long, long time. It's only mummy and daddy that have whiskey. Don't touch.
There are a lot of licenses to lose.
Yeah.
It's just as
in the office to see daddy. No.
I don't know where that will go. The thing is, I think when the kids grow up around it, they don't bother. In fact, my two are just teenagers, just turned, and they're ambivalent about Crystal, or you know, I think they're ambivalent about everything. I don't know why. but it's one of those things that they don't seem to. It doesn't seem to register if they're around Crystal and glass. They're just used to it. You know, they've got to clean it delicately.
Yeah. Our oldest, he's 4. He came accidentally. He got into the office a few weeks ago, and came upstairs into this room, and he looked around, and all he said was, "Daddy, there's many cool things in here." And I was like, "Oh God, out you come, son."
He's like, that's only because he's been listening to you intently. The thing is, he'll probably know all the brands.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be quite
cool. That. You'll be terrified. You'll probably it'll absorb everything that you're saying in passing. They're absorbing.
It's funny, yeah, when they say things back to you, and you're like, wow, yeah, I definitely said that.
But Daddy, you don't like that one. Why don't you?
Laugh about that guy. I'm like, no.
Go to your room.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always the fun side.
Yeah, it is getting a lot of fun now, isn't it?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be fun. Oh, it'll be good fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time.
No, it's been lovely to chat and talk, and well, I hope it goes well. I wish you all the very best, and I hope everybody enjoys a wee dram with you.
Awesome.
Thank
you so much, Sam.
Thanks again to Scott. We really enjoyed hearing so much about the business. Such a great heritage brand. I mean, you think about all that they've done. Yeah, and obviously we are massive fans of the Glencairn glass, Greg, particularly the red ones. Yeah, and we know that a lot of people really love drinking our whiskey in it as well. So it's been really great for our brand to be able to help and grow us with their support as well. So
and Glencairn's the official whiskey glass of GreatDrams.
It is, yes, it is. So if you're looking to get your own Glencairn Crystal ware, please have a look at their website or just get in touch with us with any questions, and we can happily pass them on to the team over there as well. So thanks again for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed. If you've got any comments or questions, please get in touch. Take care.
And remember to leave any kind of reviews and all that kind of stuff as well. And yeah, every little bit is helpful for us. Cheers. Until next time.